Water, earth, fire, air.
I hope you guys enjoyed that intro. I was going to use the original Avatar intro for my anime reference, but I really wanted to feature someone who I think whose art and just animations are amazing. That's Caitlin Sutherland. I put her links on the social in the description below, so you can go ahead and follow her. If you really like that intro, please give her a follow. I love her animations. And like I said, rather than use the classic Avatar intro, I wanted to use her work. So again, Caitlin Sutherland, her links are in the social. That's her original work, watermarked by her, and it was absolutely amazing. So please, she's one of my favorite animators, so please give her a follow on her socials below. Anyways, I thought it would be appropriate to do that type of intro because as much of an anime nerd you know I am, this is the Element Cup, and I bring to you the top 5 teams of the Element Cup. Better late than never. Of course, our Lord and Savior, PvPoke.com, is always busy. However, thanks to him, he has updated the Element Cup rankings for the top teams. So, as you see here, the top tier performers are live. Before I say anything, please consider contributing to PvPoke.com. And also, today, I will be your judge, jury, and your analyst. I almost forgot that part because of the heavy promotion I was doing for someone that I think it has amazing art and I think is incredibly underrated in the Pokemon animation world. Please give a follow to Caitlin Sutherland as well. Again, the link is in the description as well as her socials. Please give her a follow. She totally deserves it, as well as PvPoke.com. Make sure you follow PvPoke.com. This wonderful human being. Do so. Anyways, if you want to access the top performers, again, just go over the train tab and click this tab. And as you see here, the Element Cup has been updated for this cup. The top 5 teams. I will analyze the top 5 teams, the top 10 Pokemon, and there are also there's actually a bunch of ABB combinations that are particularly doing well in this cup. Now, it's pretty dangerous, but I think I get why the concept of it, and I will, again, these are the top 5 teams, and I'll be doing the top 5 ABB teams, as well as the top 10 Pokemon used for training. And without further ado, let's get started. Alright, team number 1's an ABB team, and it features Ducklett, Bulbasaur, and Chikorita. So I was wrong about Double Grass being a lot of a viability, but I see the general concept here. Ducklett's in the lead. Ducklett is there to catch the fire type. Other than that, you have Bulbasaur and Chikorita. It looks like double Vine Whip users with their pressure is really good in this cup. And because Chikorita is basically the most powerful grass type, has the ability to shield its way to oblivion against Ducklett, it's a very powerful mon for this cup. And as you see, Double Grass, I am wrong, is very good. However, the risk of running Double Grass is basically if you see a single fire in the back and you don't catch it against Ducklett, it's GG's. This team has great coverage. Anything with Ducklett plus Chikorita is going to give you fantastic coverage. Not a lot of bulk, pretty safe. Unfortunate. I think the safe switch here is Chikorita, break seals with Chikorita, and then realign with Bulbasaur and with Ducklett. I think Bulbasaur is really here to catch those Charm Cottonies, which are being really used a lot. So, as you see here, basically, as I mentioned above, this team does very, very well against the meta. As you see here, Ducklett on Ducklett action is very, very interesting. But again, what I mentioned here, Ducklett with the 2 shield does beat Cottony, and Bulbasaur is there to catch Cottony. So there is viability for poison type users, particularly Bulbasaur. So as you see here, this team does really, really well. And the reason why you have double grass users is to catch Chinchou. If someone is using Chinchou, your back row will absolutely annihilate Chinchou. In fact, this team essentially targets the anti-meta because, you know, it targets the duck. So then Chinchou targets the duck, and then the grass targets the little floating light bulb thingy that you could see at the bottom of the ocean via Finding Nemo. That was a wonderful movie, by the way. As you see here, your biggest threats are against literally just fire types. That's why fire types, Vulpix, Tepig, and Growlithe are on the front. However, this follows the concept of what I mentioned. Ducklett with Bubble Beam. This Ducklett with Bubble Beam beats all fire types. So this basically forces the fire type against Ducklett. However, if your opponent is running double fire, you're pretty screwed. Just putting that out there. As you see, this team has a very low threat score, but again, it basically follows the concept of catch the fire type in the lead. And try to win out the match. If you don't catch the fire type in the lead, or if your opponent is able to successfully align or has really strong matchups against your back row, it's pretty much GG's. However, despite all of this, a double grass team, ABB, did happen to make it into the top 5. So team number 5 is very powerful. It's also pretty budgety. 2 starters in the back. So this is a very good budget team. Bulbasaur and Chikorita are 10k moves, are 10k dust for their second moves. And Ducklet, of course, is the most powerful mon in the Element Cup. Very solid team, and I definitely recommend it. But Bulbasaur is there to catch those Charm Cottonies. Also there to catch... Also, again, the double back row is there to catch Chinchous. At team number 4, we have a really interesting team here. Remember how I mentioned Chinchou is really freaking good because it's the anti-Ducklet? This features Chinchou, Pansear, and Vulpix. This is an incredibly interesting team because Pansear is regional, which means I believe only those are whoever's in Europe or within that area in the middle is able to get Pansear. And whoever made this team is it's super interesting. If you look at the analysis, as you see below here, it looks like it wasn't used by any particular individual. Looks like more than one person was actually running it, but it's very, very interesting. So as you see here, 0.04. So either 2 or more people are running this, but it's an incredibly powerful team. Double Fire is basically here to basically it's this. You see this team right here? It beats that team. So Chinchou is there to catch Ducklet, and then Pansear and Vulpix is trying to catch the Charmer or one of the grass types in the back, which is the reason why Double Fire works. As you see, the difference between 5 and 4 aren't too much, just 4-point difference, but basically this team just beats team number 5, so I'm guessing that's why everything panned out to the way it is. But as you see here, this team is actually very powerful. Great coverage, not a lot of bulk. As interesting as Pansear is, it's very squishy. It's like a Tamagotchi, you know what I mean? It's an 8-bit creature, and it has a very cheap device to house it in. Not very cheap, though, because the second move for Pansear is actually a lot, because the regional monkeys cost a lot of Stardust. It's also not very safe because fire is basically this team is very risky because you don't essentially you're essentially going to either lead against Chinchou or you're going to sack Chinchou and then hope your back row can cover it or that your opponent has a grass type, because if they don't have a Charmer or they're rocking double water, etc., there's a reason why the top 3 isn't ABB, so it's very risky. However, this team does perform decently well. As you see here, Chinchou does really well against whatever pet, all the water types. Basically, that's why Chinchou is in the lead. And, of course, it's there to destroy Ducklet. That's why you see Pansear and Vulpix in the back, because it catches the grass archetype, especially Charm Cottony, which might be very popular in this meta. So, if you scroll down to the bottom, as you see here, your biggest weaknesses are, of course, going to be grass-type leads. Other Chinchous can be a pain because Chinchous in the mirror matches, it's really going to be IV dependent because whoever wins CMP will essentially win that mirror match. Barboach can also give you a hard time along with Wooper because they both resist Chinchou. You're going to have to straight Bubble Beam against Wooper and Barboach, and they do super effective damage because of Mudshot. So this is a very risky team. However, if you see heavy Cottony usage or heavy grass back row, this team isn't a bad idea to use. As you see, 581 rating, a very high threat score, but the basic like strategy of teams like I mentioned below. Catch Ducklet leads, hopefully Cottony safe switches, and you'll do very, very well with this team. Or you could try to break shields and have Chinchou and Vulpix close out accordingly. As you see here, this is team number 3. We got Chikorita, Ducklet, and Vulpix. This is a very, very generic team. Very generic, actually. I was actually practicing with a variation of this team. Instead of using Chikorita lead, I was using Chinchou in a lead, but basic concept of my team: break shields with the lead, safe switch Ducklet, and then Vulpix in the patch to catch the catch the grass type in the back, basically. As you see here, this team has a 555 rating, 0.8. So it's not actually it's not too much of a difference between the double fire team and this one right here. So not too much of a difference. Both sports a 0.04% usage. This team has incredible coverage, not a lot of bulk. Anything in the Element Cup, you're not going to find a super ton of bulk just because everything's going to do a ton of damage. Good safety and good consistency. I think I called this team at one point. Well, the Vulpix in the back, but the Chikorita Ducklet core, of course, is just extremely powerful. That's why you see it over here. And I put that on my top type T videos. It's a really good core. But as you see here, Chikorita does wonders against basically, it beats Ducklet into 2 shield. Cottony, even though it doesn't resist to Cottony's charms, that's why it dies. You have Ducklet and Vulpix to cover for the back row. As you see here, Chikorita, this is a very generic Chikorita does beat Ducklet in 2-shield, so Chikorita can basically run through Ducklet and catch those Chinchows. This is why Chikorita is in the lead. Chikorita also beats up pretty much all of the water archetype. So, Chikorita is incredibly powerful, with the exception of seeing Fire Leaves, which is why you have Ducklet and Vulpix. Ducklet is the most powerful Safe Switch, and then you have Vulpix to close out. Fire Leaves in the back are great to catch things like Cottonee, etc., basically catching the Grass archetype. And, of course, Body Slam with Vulpix still does neutral damage against water types, so it's not resisted. That's why, as you see here, this team actually has a ridiculously low threat score. In fact, it has the lowest threat score. Is this right? 408? That's the lowest threat score I've ever seen. Holy hell, it is accurate. Wow. Well, dang. This is the lowest threat score I've ever seen. So, yeah. Wow, I'm impressed. Whoever made this team is baller. Like, really baller. This is the best team I've ever seen. Which is kind of wonder what the lowest threat score is. So this team is really freaking good. Yeah, this team's really freaking good. This is the lowest threat score I've ever seen. Which is incredible. Well, I guess I understand why. Because as you see, like, there's not a lot of holes in this team. Yeah, there's not a lot of holes in this team at all. And then its weaknesses, you don't see them a lot. So, very, very solid team. Extremely impressed at how powerful it is. So, again, very, very good team. Statistically extremely powerful. You lose the lead, you say switch into Ducklet, and you use Vulpix in the back row. Again, Ducklet and Vulpix were something I kind of called. I was just using Chinchou in the lead, but Chikorita is statistically better, and this team does have the lowest threat score in the Element Cup. Alright, if you do not believe in Bidoof, but you believe in Slowpoke, remember how I told you Slowpoke was a really great budget pick and it was going to do really well for this cup? Well, guess what? Slowpoke is the #2 most powerful team in PvPoke. I am so proud of the fact that I was able to call that Slowpoke lead was an absolute monster and it's a baller. I called it. This is Slowpoke lead, Ducklet Safe Switch, and Bulbasaur closes out. As you see here, if we go to this data, this is a 563 rating. Sporting a heavy 0.7% usage, so it's actually more powerful than the lowest threat score team that I featured to you before. It's insanely strong. Bulbasaur works as in the middle just because Bulbasaur does have the ability to KO with Sludge Bomb, as well as Bulbasaur being able to catch those Cottonee Charm users. It's basically why Bulbasaur is really good. I forgot how much Charm Cottonee had so much of a use, so I skipped that detail, but Bulbasaur is insanely powerful. Again, everything in the little cup is not going to have a ton of bulk. That's why this is a D. However, it has amazing coverage, only good safety. Again, Ducklet Safe Switch is absolutely amazing. However, Bulbasaur is prone to fire types in the back, so just be careful of that. And consistency is B. But again, Slowpoke is very strong in the lead just because of its 2-shield capability. Confusion pretty much works like Charm, in the fact that Confusion damage does heavy damage in Charm, and if you do see Bulbasaur lead for some odd reason, or if we see Poison types in the lead to catch Charm users, that's why Slowpoke is so good. As you see here, Slowpoke in 2-shield is insanely powerful, does really, really well against a lot of different combinations, except for Grass leads, which is why Grass leads pretty much overpowering, as you see here. Now, if we go scroll down below, as well as Chinchou. Chinchou also gives you an issue. This is what, for the lead, so if someone's using Chinchou lead to catch Ducklets, you could 2-shield your way through Chinchou if you want to. Try to keep Chinchou, try to Confusion Chinchou down, but just keep in mind it's going to be a really rough matchup if you see a Chinchou. Other than that, the only thing that really gives you a hard time in the 2-shield will probably be Chinchou as well as Grass types. So Chinchou and Grass types will give you a hard time unless it's Bulbasaur, because you're going to, slow Confusion is super effective against Poison, which is why you see here. However, the thing is, and what makes it a little risky is Bulbasaur can still beat Slowpoke in the 1-shield, so it's not really that safe. But, however, this team is incessantly powerful. An incredibly low threat score of 442. One of the lowest threat scores I've seen for the Little Cup, which is just insane. I get why Bulbasaur combinations are so powerful, though, because Bulbasaur combinations are able to basically resist Charm. Because you're able to catch Cottonee with Charm, that's why Bulbasaur is so good, and that's why this team performs so well in the Little Cup. Again, #2 team. So, again, it features Slowpoke as the lead, Bulbasaur, Ducklet. Slowpoke lead is good. I called it. The most powerful team of Chinchou lead Chikorita as your safe switch and Vulpix as your closer. I was actually using Vulpix in the back for my team as well as Chinchou lead. This just uses Chikorita as a safe switch, and I understand why, because Chikorita can beat Ducklet in the 2-shield scenario. As you see here, this is the most powerful team sporting a 564.6 usage. It also has one of the highest usage rates in The Element Cup, as you see here, it's very mighty, so both the Duck and Chinchou are very powerful. Surprisingly, a Ducklet team isn't on top, but a 563 rating versus a 564 rating isn't that bad. Chinchou is just an incredibly powerful lead, and it does beat Slowpoke, which is why, and Ducklet, so this is why Chinchou is such an incredible lead. Again, Chikorita is your safe switch, Vulpix is in your closer. This team tops up at a 564.6 rating, so statistically, it's the most powerful team. However, it's not much of a difference between Team 2 and Team 1. There's not, 1 point isn't a lot of difference. And a lot of people are using this team. 0.8% is a very high rating. If you've noticed, literally in the top 10, this is literally the highest percentage uses, other than this team right here with Cotton safe switch. As you see, the Chinchou Vulpix, with Chinchou lead, Vulpix in the back has rated very, very well. Chikorita is incredibly powerful as well, so as you see here. Now this team is going to have an A, as I know it for coverage, D for bulk, because again, what I mentioned, it basically mirrors Team 2 as far as coverage, bulk, and safety, and it's basically same stats as Team 2. This team, nothing's going to have a lot of bulk, only good safety, just because Chikorita isn't exactly a really great safe swap, but it does its job. Well, it does its job. It's a great safe swap, depending on how you play it, but it also depends on what your opponent has, as the nature of Go Battle League. But as you see here, this team is very good against the meta. It basically uses Chinchou and Chikorita to target Ducklet. Vulpix is in the back there to catch Cottony, just because, of course, Charmers, Cottony with Charm, and of course, Vulpix Rose Bulbasaur. If Bulbasaur is being used a lot, Vulpix is a very valuable pick, and it does really well in the back to catch Bulbasaur, as you see here. Of course, Chinchou lead is weak to, it's weak to Grass type, so you lose Grass, you throw Chikorita into it, and then Chikorita tries to break shields or Wind Switch and then realign, or you go in with Vulpix with energy, etc. So, it's a very powerful team, does really, really well. With Tawny being your biggest thing, as well as Bulbasaur. So this team, again, if you see a Grass lead, as with any lead you safe switch in the Chikorita, and then you realign with Vulpix. Basically, you try to bait out either the fire, you try to bait out the fire type in reality. You bait out the fire type, if they have it in the back, with Chikorita. As soon as you safe switch to Chikorita, they're going to safe switch into their fire type. Fire type comes in, Chinchou beats fire type because Bubble Beam with Finn, and then Vulpix tries to sweep the back with Body Slam energy, and hopefully has a really good matchup against your opponent in the back. Vulpix in the back is your opponent's worst nightmare if they're running double Grass, or if they're lined up in a Grass type in the back. So this team is very powerful though. So 496 rating, sadly not 469, but as you see here, it is the most powerful team used in PvPoke. Statistically, it is the most powerful team. So, sporting a 564 rating, it's really strong, excessively powerful. Vulpix in the back is the premier pick, but as you see, I would say anything in the top 5 would probably do really well for you. It's also nuts to see how many ABB picks actually do obsessively well. Again, there's a lot of different targets in here, but as you 560, there's a big difference between 9 points. So 9 points is a big difference. So just keep that in mind. But it's an excessively powerful team, and this number 1 team will do very well for you if you choose to use it in the Element Cup. Again, it's Chinchou lead, Chikorita is your safe switch, and Vulpix is your closer. And that's GG's. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully these teams do help you in your conquest to try to gain Elo and make Legend or your supposed goals in the Element Cup, because it's going to be a very, very fast cup. It's going to do a lot of damage, and you're going to see a bunch of minus 500 babies. If you don't like this cup, you have the option of doing Master League Classic or Level 50 Open Master League, or you can meme your way and have fun in the Legendary, the Godly, the most... Not even Goku at Super Saiyan 69 can defeat this foe, the Bidoof Cup. Otherwise known as, if you watch the Data Pokemoners and you follow them, the cup's called Choose Bidoof. So, yeah. They really outdid themselves with this one. So, you have the option of doing that. But again, hopefully these teams do help you out. My team, as you see, like some of my pre-teams, like I already called Chikorita Ducklet being an incredibly powerful core. I already called Vulpix being excessively powerful in the back. And, of course, Slowpokes. So... Again, looks like I outdid. I kind of wish this cup wasn't like this, but, you know, minus 500 cups are going to be this way. Hopefully you are prepared, and hopefully you caught all the Pokemon you needed to make the teams you want, and hopefully this helps you out. Again, I'll be putting out more content on the teams, like ABB teams and top 10 for the Element Cup before the cup goes live. So, I just want to put this out here because as usual, if I have the time and there are important information, I will make a video as fast as possible, as long as I make accurate analysis, etc. Well, I've been doing this for a while, so I can look at stuff, and it doesn't take me very long to figure out teams. As you see here, these teams will help you climb in the Element Cup. And with that being said, because I put so much effort in this video and I love my subscribers, those of you that subscribe, I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for the 2K again. We're striving to 3K before the end of the year. So if you could do me a huge favor, you see that box at the bottom right? It says subscribe. If you put your mouse over it, you can easily subscribe by the time you are done listening to the sound of my voice. I really do appreciate those that have already subbed, and it really helps out the channel. And did I mention, it's absolutely free. Please like and subscribe. Again, it's absolutely free. It takes 2 seconds, and I really do appreciate the support. Good luck on your Go Battle League sets. I hope you guys are ready for the Element Cup. I hope everyone is prepared, and I hope this really does help you out. And hopefully you liked and subscribed. Other than that, again, good luck on your Go Battle League sets, and I will see you guys on the next video.
Ciao!